Hey everyone, it's Tim the Nintendo Gamer here, and this time we're back with Wave 2, but this time we're going to cover the Propeller Cup, so it's the second cup in Wave 2 with 4 new tracks, so let's jump right in. If you missed our first one, we went through Turnip Cup, so you can probably just check out the video somewhere around here at the moment. You can just click there and see the first 4 tracks, but we're going to jump into the next cup, which is Propeller Cup. We've got from Tour, we've got Sydney Sprint, and then we've got Snowland, which hasn't been around since the GBA, and a lot of visual updates on this one, which is awesome. And then we've got 2 really interesting ones. Mushroom Gorge from the Wii, one of the favorites from the old games. People really like Mushroom Gorge. And of course, Sky High Sundae, which is particularly interesting because it's a brand new track. They do say it's coming into Mario Kart Tour in the future, but if you remember when they announced, they said there will be no new tracks. So it's kind of interesting there. I suppose they've gotten away with it by saying it's going to come to Mario Kart Tour, which is the mobile game, but I find it really interesting, but we'll talk a little bit about that and my opinion on that later. So this is Sydney Sprint, obviously taking place in Sydney, Australia. There's some really cool little passages to go through here. You go through a boat, you go obviously through the Sydney Opera House, really cool. So let's jump in. And of course, as I mentioned in the first wave, and I've mentioned in the previous video for Wave 2, I'm really impressed with these Mario Kart Tour tracks. I really was worried about them before. I thought the fact that these are mobile games means we were going to get a really low quality. Of course, those 2D figures that you saw there aren't great. If you didn't see them, you'll probably just want to rewind the video and just check them out. That's really one of the standout things that I noticed is that doesn't look good visually. And of course, you still do have the plain old grass and that sort of thing. It doesn't bother me too much because of how fun it is and because of the alternate tracks and how fun these Mario Kart Tour versions of tracks have been. I've been really impressed. I wasn't expecting to enjoy the tour tracks as much as I did, and I think Ninja Hideaway from the first one is probably my favorite track from the Wave 1, and it's impressive that that's that. So as you see there, we just went through a boat, which is pretty awesome. I probably need to collect my final coin. Remember, I'm carrying this coin here just in case the boo arrives. How pretty is this section where you get to go these little alternate routes through this little walkway, which is pretty cool. You've got Shy Guys and Toads cheering you on along the way. There was a Yoshi there too, which is pretty sweet. Okay, and as usual with the Mario Kart Tour sections, and of course I've got ink here, but this is quite nice. Got a little ramped section. Oh, I got hit by something there, which is really interesting. I don't know how someone hit me. Did I do that to myself? Probably. Every lap that you're going to go through, you're going to get a slightly different version of the course. So you go on a slightly different. Oh, what a perfect hit. Will I go backwards? Oh, I will. Lakitu took me backwards. It's the worst thing, but really good placement of the red shell there. Okay, so as I was saying, in every lap you get a slightly different route, which is really fun. Something that I hope they just keep going with. I love it when you get a slightly different route. Makes everything a little bit more exciting. Okay, I'm going to have to do a lot of work here to get back into first place. So let's try. We're going to concentrate. So as you can see, slightly different route. We're going on a different route now. Let's see if I can play some of those. Get ahead. Inkling here. And here's this little section that's so cool. You've probably seen that in lap 2 as well. So we got here in a slightly different way, but we get to have those multiple ramps, which is really nice. But I do think there's been something that's happened to CPU abilities. They seem to be slightly better than they were before. And then also, wow, this one is really stuck with me. Inside the Opera House, really cool. But the fact that I'm in first place and I keep getting double boxes with items is really impressive to me. But it was something that I thought had changed in Mario Kart 1 and then Wave 1 and it hadn't been like that. Okay, so Sydney Sprint. I love it. I like all the Mario Kart Tour versions so far. I'm really impressed and I'm really happy that they're bringing them out. It's really surprising to me. Okay, so now we're going to go into the older tracks, the retro tracks, and this one is particularly interesting. So Snowland was something in GBA. If you go back, there's videos out there of GBA. It looked completely different. So the visual upgrades that this one has received are probably the most out of all of them. Really cool. And what you'll notice here is actually the whole track is ice, so you get a little bit more slip and slide when you are drifting. As those that have watched my previous video know, I'm a big fan of drifting, so this is kind of fun that it brings something else along the way. It's also the placement of the boxes is kind of interesting in this one, so rather than having double boxes and single boxes along the way, you still get those, but you often get this line of boxes, which is kind of interesting. And one of the things they changed from Wave 1 along with Wave 1, I beg your pardon, when Wave 2 was released, is that they are now spawning a little bit quicker. So once you hit a box, you actually get it a little bit quicker, which is kind of an interesting one. Nice little one from Baby Mario here. Looks like I'm going to be able to show you one of the shortcuts which you can take here if you've got a mushroom, which is pretty cool. You might be able to do that as well if you've got 200cc. As you can see, it didn't really gain me a place unless that person was just right in front of you. The person that's first is probably going to remain first in that one there. But it's pretty nice to see that there is a little bit of an alternate route here. And as you can see, these penguins floating around, sliding around, so cute. I like it a lot. Okay, here where you only have the double box here. So another one, kind of a simple track, but really fun in that it's visually so much more appealing than the GBA version, which shows you that they actually are carrying and are doing a lot of work. Despite the flat textures, there is actually quite a bit of work that's going into this, and like I've said many times, you really just enjoy it for the races. So as you can see, boxes are flying in from space, which happens in Snowland, which I'm assuming is some sort of snow level in the original Mario Brothers, where they pipe in boxes. So we talking a lot of nonsense, but really enjoying this track. They also float up there, not really sure why, so a little bit strange there, but really nice otherwise. Okay, I'm going to see if I can hold on to this position, because I am being chased down. Let's see. Oh, I've got another blue shell coming my way, which is a bit disappointing, where we already had one. But let's see if I can get to the end. I think I might just be able to get to the end before too much damage is done. Oh, this is going to be tight. Okay, just made that one, so there was a little fun ending. And got inked right at the end too. Pretty fun. Okay, so now we're moving into probably one of the biggest fan favorites, other than probably Waluigi Pinball, which was in the first cup, which I advise you to go have a look at. It's really fun. This is another big fan favorite. This one just from the Wii, so 2 generations ago, which is Mushroom Gorge. Again, like Calamari, Desert also in the first cup. Not my favorite, but I really like what they've done with it. And they've been a little bit of a few changes. There's a few more mushrooms in the way, and the mushrooms behave a little differently, which has come about before, but perhaps you didn't know about it. I'll let you know when we go to that section. So, as you can probably see, red and green are the main mushrooms you're going to be seeing. They give you little hops, so the reds give you a nice big jump, like you'll see in this one, and you can hop off them, get a little boost. But there's also green, which don't really give you a hop at all, or just a platform. Oop, and I've lost myself here, so this is the problem with a Mushroom Gorge. But at least it sent me forward, which is very nice. But here's the probably the most famous little section here with multiple mushrooms along the way. And they also seem to have added an extra set of boxes. I don't think there was a box over here, which is quite nice. If you're particularly good, and I've done it again. Funnily enough, I don't fall too often on this section in the new ones. I constantly fell off on the DS, 3DS I believe it was, on Mario Kart 7. So they have seemed to space those out a little bit better. But as you can see, it still happens, which is a little bit frustrating, but I think part of the fun. Mario Kart's a little bit about mayhem, or a lot about mayhem, so I think that brings a little bit of mayhem to the racing, which I'm all for. So, here we go. I'm going to show you now what happens if you get into the blue one here. I'm going to try and see if I can get onto the blue mushroom over here. So I'm going to jump on this one and then turn and see if I can get onto the blue one. This is probably a safer one, so if you're out in front, it probably slows you down a little bit, but it opens up your glider and means you can get through without having to worry. Of course, there is a bit of a challenge to get to that one sometimes, so you kind of have to go risk-reward there and see if it's worth it for you. But I think it's kind of a cool addition. I believe that one came out in Mario Kart 7, which I think started the gliders out, so that's probably been there since that one. But still nice that they brought it here. Again, how much better does this one look? Again, the textures are a little bit flat, even in this one. I think whenever you've got really colorful green areas, which you do in this track, you tend to notice them a little bit more, but again, only if you're looking for them. In my opinion, if you're in this gorge, for example, you're looking at the pretty colors, you're hoping to stay on the mushrooms, and you're just not worried about the textures of the grass. But that may just be me, maybe not. I may just have lost my position there. I did, but that was nice. Okay, so that was Mushroom Gorge. I hope fans of this one are going to enjoy that one, that it's back. But I think kind of an interesting one that we have to cover now is Sky High Sundae. So this is kind of an interesting track because, as I mentioned before, When Nintendo told us about the DLC, they told us there'd be no new tracks. They'd be coming from Mario Kart Tour and then the older versions. But this track actually hasn't been to Mario Kart Tour yet. So Sky High Sundae. And you'll see it actually doesn't have a little link there where it says Tour or anything like that. It just says Propeller Cup Sky High Sundae. We have been told later it will join. It will be added to Mario Kart Tour, so I suppose that's how they're getting away with it. But I think what happened here is a lot of people commented in the first wave how there were no anti-grav sections in the new ones. They mentioned that that was one of the reasons why they felt that not enough work had gone into it. So I think this track was done almost exclusively for that reason, because this whole track is anti-grav. Now, I like this track. There are definitely some issues with the camera. You'll see probably even from just watching this that you're looking up the whole time, okay? And it's kind of a straightforward course. There are some alternate routes. If you fall, for example, where I was there, you can go below. So if you had been hit there, for example, you get a little section. But there's no big changing route that you'll have to go somewhere else. So kind of straightforward. I've heard some people complain about that on social media already. For me, that's not a big problem as long as the track is fun. We had the Mario Kart Circuit 3 or whatever from SNES in the first version, and I kind of love that track and how simple it is because of all the drifting. The problem I have with this one is this. I don't understand why these bars give you a boost. For the first few times that I raced that track, I was trying to avoid them, and so I only realized afterwards that you can actually get a boost. I think the visual language that they've used in previous tracks where the little blue icon or the blue light kind of indicated that there were boosts there. That was sort of the language they should have kept. I suspect they probably had those and then removed them at a later stage. I'm not sure. The Game Explain guys, when they were talking about these tracks before release, when we just got the video, they mentioned that. I think it was something they specifically noticed, or it may have been in a later video where they mentioned that this was really terrible. I agree with them wholeheartedly. I think it really just needs to change color, or it needs to become a hazard. At the moment, I think people will avoid it, and so it's super confusing. But other than the camera and that little small issue that I have, I think in general, I love that there's an anti-grav section. I wish it could have been a little bit more interesting in the anti-grav, and I kind of like it when there's a combination. It's not just all anti-grav. So it would have been cool if there was some sections where you use your wheels and then certain sections where you jump out. But I think it's fantastic that we're basically getting a brand new track and the fact that we've got an anti-grav section finally. And when you compare that, when you combine that with all the cool stuff that we got from the other tracks, again, I'm just so happy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end. That's the Propeller Cup. So a brand new track that you can experience and some returning favorites. I love what they're doing, guys. I think I like this one even more than Wave 1. They've also gone back and fixed some issues that we had with Wave 1. So maybe if you have some issues with this, they'll be fixing them too in Wave 3. I'm just so excited to have more content. I hope we can race together soon. I'll try to set that up. But just remember, on Wednesday nights, South African racers do tend to race online. If you want to join us, just jump into our Discord. I'll put a link down below. But until then, I hope you have some fun racing Mario Kart 8 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Wave 2. And for now, I'm going to be signing off for the week. And just remember that it's dangerous to go alone. So take this.